Welcome, Heart and Soul Mother, to another video from me, Jana, from So Alive Now. And in this video, I challenge you if you can use the phone for at least 2 hours straight. I did it, and I want to explain to you why I did it and what my experience was, because that is important if you want to reduce the screen time for your child. So here we go. Welcome, Heart and Soul Mother. Yeah, in this video, I want to challenge you to use the phone excessively for at least 2 hours straight. And why do I give you this challenge? Well, if you want to reduce the screen time for your child, it is, for me, in my point of view, very important that you go through the same experience your child goes through, even though it is not quite comparable because you are older and your child is growing, so you can imagine that for your child it is even more extreme. But you have to make the experience in order to go through with your rules when you want to restrict the screen time for your child. And I will tell you in a bit what I experienced, because it was really interesting. And why do I say at least 2 hours? Well, on average, children between the ages of 8 to 14 use any type of screen for at least 2 hours up to 6 hours. And if they are older than 14, they even use it for, they can use it up to, they might use it for up to 9 hours a day. So quite a long time. I said 2 hours. I actually did it for 3 hours. And I took a little break after 2 hours, but then I watched a movie, so I went to the movie theater. So I was exposed then to the screen, or to input from a screen for 6 hours. So yeah, that was quite a lot. So let me tell you what I did. Well, for 2 hours straight, I played an online game, and it is called Plants vs. Zombies, which I think is quite an interesting name for a game. And the content of that game was basically that I needed to plant plants in a garden, and there were zombies coming to that garden, and the plants, some of the plants I was able to plant were able to shoot at the zombies. So that's what I did for 2 hours straight. I was also, there was just a bird approaching the window. Well, and I was also listening to the hits of young people from 2022, which I mean, there were a few nice songs, but there were a lot of awful songs. And yeah, so I was really doing it very excessively. And what was quite interesting, and there's a bird again, it's a bit irritating. And what was quite interesting was that there were a few points here. I noticed that my breath was very shallow. So I wasn't really breathing very deeply. I was breathing more up here, and that led to more stress. I felt a lot of stress because in that game you have to be quite quick to kill the zombies. So I felt stressful. I felt a lot of stress. And the third thing I noticed was my fingers. They were kind of hurting quite early on because I was playing it on the smartphone, and I'm not used to holding the smartphone for so long, so my fingers hurt. I can imagine that this pain threshold will get lower if you do it more often, but still it is not a good position for your fingers. And I noticed an instant addictive behavior, and that was for me quite stunning, because when I took that break after 2 hours, and when I was driving up to the movie theater, I was constantly thinking about that game and thinking about playing it again, because I felt a bit, even though I felt stressed, I felt very rewarded because I was going through each level and I was successful and I was gaining points, and that was, a very I felt very joyful about that actually. And so and it was instantly connected, being addicted to having these quick solutions. And I think this is one of the biggest things about online games or games in general, or the smartphone and social media as well, because you get instant gratification. And this instant gratification is very unnatural, because usually in life you don't get that gratification, but we of course want it. And that's why we get addicted to it. And it was so interesting for me to see that, to really experience that. What I also noticed, and what was very shocking to me, and that's why I really advise you to step into the zone of your child's usage of the smartphone, because in that game, which is free, and it usually isn't free then, because in that case you were shown advertisements. And these advertisements, you actually had to to watch them, because otherwise you weren't able to reach the next level. So in order, for example, to get another bomb to kill the zombie, I needed to watch an advertisement. And the advertisement that was played regularly, it was Volt, which is a delivery service. I don't know if you have that one in your country. So it delivers food to your doorstep. And the one advertisement was about burgers, so something that children like. And the second advertisement was about that said, it's raining outside, just stay inside and make yourself cozy. Why go outside? Which I think for young people, it is very awful to see that advertisement already at a young age, that encouraged them, don't go outside, don't see nature or anything, stay inside, play games, and get your food delivered right to your doorstep. And that was played in a loop. I think I saw that advertisement, because I played for 2 hours. I saw that advertisement at least for 10 times. And the second advertisement that came after that was another game. So another game that got promoted. And this game, I actually needed to play it. Otherwise, the game didn't go on. So I instantly got drawn into another game where I felt like, that looks nice. I will download that after I'm done with Plants vs. Zombies. So very, very interesting how this whole dynamic works. And so I really encourage you to do the same. And the last thing I noticed was how I woke up afterwards. So the next morning, basically, I didn't feel very refreshed in the morning, and interestingly enough, and that was always just my theory, because I'm always saying that how much the overuse of the smartphone disconnects you. And I really felt totally disconnected to myself. It wasn't actually such a bad feeling. It was almost like I wasn't really here, which sometimes can be a nice thing. But it was weird. It was a weird feeling. But in some ways, it was also something that you might long for. But in the long run, we all know it is not a good thing that if you are not connected to yourself. By going through that experience just for a day, for 2 hours, or for me it was 6 hours in total, makes you realize, okay, we need to change something. And if we set rules, we really set them and we go through with them. Yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I really challenge you to do the same. It would be so great to hear from you, either in the comments or write me an email. You find all the contacts on my channel. And yeah, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, because then what I was saying will reach more people. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to me. And I say good evening, good night, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Heart and Soul Mother. Bye.